for a Goblin deck to do. So
yeah, I was saying this to
it.
Glenn. Yeah, the thing is, I don't think he came. I don't think he intended to come prepared for a Goblin Charbelcher match.
Sure.
But the way he built his deck and sideboard, he actually has the tools to beat the deck. He has a main deck Tuk Tuk Scrapper that you can search for with a Goblin Matron. He has 1 Grudge in the board, 3 Mindbreak Traps in the board. He was very well set up to beat the Charbelcher deck in the sideboarded games, and that's what he did.
Hey, fair enough.
So
his deck, as most Goblin decks are all creatures and 4 Aether Vials to go along with 4, 8, 12, 16, 22 lands. So pretty straightforward Goblin deck here.
Main deck Sharpshooter, pretty good at dealing with Empty the Warrens.
That is accurate.
If you don't have the Mindbreak Trap.
And he has more 5-drops than normal, honestly. He has 2 Siege Gang Commanders and 1 Kiki-Jiki as well. So it is pretty important for his Goblin Lackey to hit, or for him to have an Aether Vial, because with only 22 lands in his deck and Wastelands in the format, getting to 5 mana to really play those guys, hardcast, excuse me, is going to be a little bit ambitious.
So, what do you think his chances are of beating the Miracles deck?
Well, honestly, it depends on how experienced he is playing against Miracles. Miracles is a very, very complicated matchup, is the word I'm looking for. There's a lot going on. You know, you have to pace the game in such a way that Terminus doesn't ruin you, but at the same time, one of the things that Terminus does that Supreme Verdict doesn't do is Terminus puts the goblins back into your deck. So, you know, you get to go ring leading and matroning and all this stuff, and normally someone would wrath you and your creatures would die, and you'd have a limited amount of resources, but when you get Terminus, those awesome goblins that you're playing against them actually go back into your deck so that you can reuse them.
Yes.
Which normally, when Terminus is like, who cares, but in the goblin matchup, that's a big deal.
Right.
To be able to get to reuse those goblins and repace the game. Basically, you can run them out of Terminus.
Right.
Now, on the flip side, what most Stoneforge decks are able to do,
what, not Stoneforge,
or excuse me, Miracle decks, is it's very important for them to find Entreat the Angels to be able to kill you. Before Entreat the Angels was a card, it was very difficult for them to kill you. They would stabilize, have control of the game, and then it would take them ages to kill you. Entreat the Angels, which Alex has 2 copies of, closes the game incredibly quickly, and there's no way for goblins to be multiple 4/4 flyers. It's borderline impossible. So the games do drag on a little bit. It's a very complicated matchup, and I mean, I don't know Jonathan's experience in Legacy, but we're going to find out right here firsthand.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it definitely it feels like if Alex is able to draw the game out long enough to where he can set up the Miracle Entreat, that's going to be it. As far as the number of Entreat the Angels in this particular build, there are 2 in the main deck, none on the board. Not usually any on the board, but you know, just checking. Yep. So yeah, 2 copies of Entreat the Angels, 3 copies of Terminus. No Supreme Verdict in sight. So like you said, the Terminus will make those goblins available to Goblin Matron, who will not only tutor up whichever goblin Jonathan wants, but provide a shuffle effect, and all those cards that were on the bottom, all those creatures that were put on the bottom from Terminus will be distributed throughout the deck. So Terminus not as powerful as far as that is concerned, but
we're on our way. We're on our way with the Guru Plains.
Yeah.
I'm uber jealous. As you see, Alex kept his 7. Jonathan is on a mulligan to 6. We're going to see a Taiga, and we got a 1-drop. Who's it going to be? We're going to see an Aether Vial. Aether
Vial does not attack, but can certainly do some damage.
Oh, it does so much more. Let's see if that's going to resolve, or are we going to see a Force of Will? We are going to see a Force of Will, removing Spell Snare.
1 mana him to Torok. I mean, that's what it was. Alex pretty much has to counter that.
Yeah, it's uber important for that card to not hit play for goblins. One of the best engines for the deck. We'll see if Jonathan, he is a little bit more of a land light version of goblins if he is going to have lands. So we see a Cavern of Souls here.
That's pretty relevant too. Not allowing his goblins to be countered, and that kind of makes it so that the entire counterbalance situation is just laughable at this point.
And Goblins was already a deck, you know, if you chose Goblins for a Legacy tournament, it was a deck that had a good matchup against counterbalance decks because of its varying mana cost. It had a lot of 3s, a lot of 4s in Goblin Ringleader, 5 in Siege Gang Commander. It was a deck that you wanted to choose if people were playing counterbalance, but Cavern of Souls even make counterbalance just way worse, which is pretty nice for the Goblins deck.
Yeah, 4 main deck Caverns in Jonathan's list. Mana's pretty good in a mono red deck. I think the 4 main deck Caverns, not too much of a stretch.
Yeah, kind of a free roll.
Yeah. And as you can see, Jonathan has some pretty unique goblin tokens.
In for one.
Bender and Deadpool.
Indeed.
Mog War Marshal providing the entertainment for us. And Bender providing the beats.
We're going to see a Wasteland here. And it looks like we're going to be hitting Goblin Matron time.
He's thinking about it. And there's Goblin Matron.
All the other 3 drops in the deck, I mean, it could be a Gem Palm Incinerator, of course, but the other 3 drops in the deck do have Haste and War Chief and Chieftain.
Well,
I'm wondering, is this going to resolve, which would be very hard to counter?
Yes, since it can't be countered because of Cavern of Souls.
This is typically... Is he going to check his hand really quickly? This is typically where a Goblin's player goes and gets the Goblin Ringleader, assuming that Jonathan has his 4th land, and we start digging in for the card advantage show. Let's see what Jonathan's going to reveal.
Seems to have, made a tentative decision. Yeah, Kiki Jiki, interesting choice. We saw him tutor that up with a Matron before against the Charbelcher deck, and made a copy of the Matron, 1 turn, tutor up Goblin Chieftain, make a copy of the Chieftain, you know, pretty much just copy whatever Goblin Lord is available after tutoring them up. Tutoring up a Pile Driver, I think, at one point.
And what that means, if he's tutoring up one of the 5-drop goblins, and again, he does have 2 Siege Gangs and 1 Kiki Jiki, is he may just already have a Ringleader and a 4th land in his hand.
Sure. Alex with Flooded Strand, 3 fetches and a Plains right now.
We're going to start sacking. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to move down to 15.
Free Lightning Bolt for Jonathan. Alex finds Island.
Those cards are so pretty.
They are some nice basic lands. Island. And let's see, Plains. Show me Plains. Plains.
Plains.
And Wrath of God? No Wrath of God.
I feel like we may be seeing Jace the Mind Sculptor this turn.
It's kind of like the blue Goblin Lackey. I'm not Goblin Lackey, I'm sorry. Goblin
Ringleader.
Ringleader.
Well, Jace isn't incredibly well positioned on this board either, because there are already 3 goblins present, and assuming that there is a Goblin Ringleader on the way next turn, or there could be a top deck of a Goblin War Chief or Goblin Chieftain. It's not going to be very long for this world, but we're going to see what Alex is going to do, and we are going to see a Jace. He turns it to him. Look how foil it is. Turns it to him. Check
extra foil.
Check that out. He's going to Fate Seal himself.
Puts it on the bottom.
So this is going to force Alex to have a way to take care of this bad boy.
Jonathan, you mean?
Scott, I'm sorry, Jonathan, thank you.
Well, he's got a window. Right now, just short of actually dealing with the Jace in 1 swing. But could easily rectify that situation depending on which goblins he has available in his hand. Jonathan doing some numbers there, it looked like.
We're going to see...
And Goblin Chieftain.
This is going to allow him to attack some towards Jace and some towards Alex, if he so chooses.
Yeah, all those goblins getting a boost from the Chieftain.
Wow, chooses to ignore
Oh, wow,
Jace.
just ignores Jace. Okay, interesting. Alex takes a beating there, though.
We're going to see a Brainstorm here. That is a risky move.
Goes to 7, takes 8 from those all those goblins. Alex trying to find an answer, maybe in the form of Terminus. Doesn't appear that he's found one. Really thinking hard about what to put back on top.
Oh.
Yeah. And we're going to get a little clearer.
This die's easier to see.
Yeah.
He just passes the turn back.
Yeah, plays an island, passes back.
Jonathan's going to draw.
Three mana.
We're going to see a Goblin War Chief. Should be walking face first right into a Terminus here. Brainstorm plus Terminus.
We're going to find out.
Yep.
Everybody in from Jonathan Paoletta.
Attack you.
Yeah.
All right, Swords.
Okay, certainly not Terminus. Swords to Plowshares on the Chieftain. It's going to make it so that everybody shrinks.
It's going to attack for 5 damage to Alex, putting him down to 2. And daring Jace to find any way to deal with this situation, as we are going to see an Arid Mesa.
Alright, Alex,
and
there's a Terminus. Okay, so he did actually find the Terminus, just apparently doesn't have the Brainstorm or the capability to draw it during Jonathan's turn available in his hand. Or else he would not have wasted the the Swords to Plowshares there. But 2 life. I was going to say he's stabilized, but it's I wouldn't say he's actually stable at this point. But has managed to live by himself another turn.
So we'll see a crack of an Arid Mesa in turn, searching on a mountain. Jonathan's land, for you guys at home, they can't see them very well. There's a Taiga, a Cavern of Souls naming Goblin, a Wasteland with currently no targets on Alex's side, and a mountain. Jace sitting at 5 for Alex, and some of the prettiest basic lands I've ever seen on his side of the board as well. He has revealed a Cavern of Souls. Alex's deck on accident while shuffling. No malicious intent there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's too much of a problem at this point, considering they've seen each other's lists.
No.
All right.
Yep. Draw a card.
Jonathan just needs to do 2 damage to send this into the second game.
And we do know that Jonathan does have a Kiki-Jiki looming in his hand that he searched for with Goblin Matron.
Taps 3. And there you saw that reshuffle. All those goblins, I think it was actually 2 physical cards that got shuffled back. But they are back in Jonathan's deck. In fact, maybe he top decked the Matron that was just sitting on the table.
Yeah.
It's possible. Matron's going to find Jonathan whichever goblin he would like to find, and imagine it's not going to be Kiki-Jiki this time. Does he go with Pile Driver? Pile Driver seems pretty good against a blue deck. Right now, you know, not as threatening, but then again, Alex is only at 2, so it doesn't need to be as threatening.
Just needs to get through for those last 2 points of damage.
Yeah.
And what are we going to see here? We're going to see a Skirk Prospector.
Yeah, Skirk Prospector. Sacrifice a goblin, add a red. Prospector to Jonathan's hand.
Likely come into, I would assume it's going to come into play this turn so that he can represent lethal.
Yeah, just the that lone Taiga sitting there doing very little. So play a Prospector.
Let's see Snapcaster Mage, flashing back Swords to Plowshares, taking care of the Matron, gaining Jonathan another life.
Exiling the Matron.
Yep.
So Alex trying to mount a defense. He's got Snapcaster there. Nice foily Snapcaster, as you can see, to block. And he finds and entreat the Angels on the top. I imagine he had a suspicion that it was there.
It's almost like he knew.
It's almost like he knew. 2 Angels, 3 Angels. That's it. No, not 4 Angels, but 3 Angels is a pretty big game, right? That seems like a reasonable little defensive force. Those all have defender, right?
You know, it'd be nice if they had defender.
Oh, you mean they can attack?
Yeah, unfortunately
Wow.
they can.
He's gonna bounce the prospector and swing in with the Snapcaster, knock Jonathan to 20.
No, Jonathan's going to have to mount one heck of an offense to beat these 3/4/4s and an active Jace right now.
Yeah, see, that's one of the more interesting things about goblins. You think, oh, well, all he needs is a burn spell. Well, what burn spell are you talking about? Because there are none in the deck that can go to the dome. He does have Gem Palm Incinerator that is able to burn creatures. Would be a pretty embarrassing Gem Palm Incinerator at the moment, considering it would do 0.
Yeah.
But it would draw a card. But yeah, no actual straight up burn spells in the Goblins deck. He's got Siege Gang Commander, sort of a burn spell. You know, put some goblins on the table and able to sacrifice them to burn. So Jonathan starts to rebuild, has a Goblin Lackey and a Skirk Prospector, both of which appear to have resolved. Or at least the Lackey has. Prospector still on the stack, potentially.
See if Alex decides that he cares a lot about that one or not.
Yeah, that is one slight consolation about Cavern of Souls is it can only cast one goblin at a time.
Yeah.
So, yes, the Lackey was uncounterable, but the Skirk Prospector was not. So, Jace is going to go ahead and just bounce that Prospector again.
Get out the way. It's time to start attacking.
And Alex attacks with 8 power worth of angels, leaving back 1 angel to block, 1 Snapcaster, and feeling pretty safe right now, I think.
Yeah, it puts Jonathan down to 12. When he's at 12, we're just going to see a Gem Palm Incinerator here cycling. Unsure what he's targeting right now. Probably Snapcaster.
Yeah, I would imagine. So, cycle the Incinerator, deal a damage to Snapcaster. Snapcaster goes away.
Draw himself a new card. Jonathan is facing lethal next turn from these 3 angels in the air, dealing 12 damage. So it's now or never.
Draws his card, and can we find a way to deal the last 2? Taking a look and seeing what is actually available.
I don't think there's too much.
Right. Well, the interesting thing is if he can play one of his hasty goblins, he's got 2 attackers. Alex has 1 blocker. Alex now has to have something. Although the Lackey only deals 1.
Only deals 1, yeah. So. There's no more chieftains left in his deck. His one Goblin Chieftain got hit by Swords of Plowshare.
Oh,
so.
It's just 1 chieftain. I don't know if I like that as much.
There's a Goblin
there's the hasty goblin. So we may see Alex going to 1 here.
There's a Skirk Prospector. That's going to be countered by a Hardcast Force of Will. We're going to see an attack with both of these guys. He said, alright.
Yeah, so Alex going to go to 1 and allow Jonathan to connect with the Lackey, who's going to be able to put another goblin into play for free, and that he chooses Kiki Jiki.
Says, I'm going to attack you for 12 next turn. I promise. And that's it.
Yeah, very, very close. Alex Khanin takes game 1 at 1 life after stabilizing. With Entreat the Angels. We've seen it before. We'll see it again. Maybe even in this match. Very, very, very impressive comeback by Alex Khanin there in game 1. So, while these guys sideboard, we're gonna, I don't know, we feel like giving away some premium.
Yeah, I feel like giving away some premium.
So we're gonna ask you guys a question. We're gonna give away 3 months of StarCityGames.com premium access, and all you have to do to potentially win is tweet the answer to our trivia question with the hashtag SCG Premium.
There it is in the bottom.
Over there. Yeah. So.
It's been a while since I've done that.
So I guess I have a question. You want?
I'll let you
Want
fire
me to
away.
go?
I'll let you
Okay.
fire away this go around.
So this is the second of 2 tournaments, big tournaments this weekend.
Okay.
We had another one started yesterday
I'm interested
morning.
to see where this is going to go.
Finished up today,
Did.
this morning. And that format was standard.
Indeed.
Who won? Who won standard this morning?
Okay.
And what archetype? I want both.
That's a
I want
two-part
both.
question?
It's kind of a 2-part question, yeah.
Okay.
You need to get who won the StarCityGames.com Standard Open in Dallas-Fort Worth this morning, and what archetype were they playing?
I like it. I like it. You got to earn it
Yeah.
nowadays. We're not just giving away 3 months for nothing now.
Jesse, do you know who won?
I have no idea.
Okay, you need to look that up
You
and
look
find
that
out
up.
because you have to determine who's actually winning.
You
Troy,
also-
you know?
I know.
You also
Troy
need
knows.
to know what
Don't
deck
tell
won.
Jesse.
Don't tell Jesse.
All right.
This is a two-part question.
So,
It's serious business here.
that's
I'm
right.
just going to pick one of my friends anyway, so don't worry.
Oh, you're
Pick one
gonna
of
pick
your
one of
friends.
your friends? Okay. All right.
Callie
Good
Anderson has
plan.
somehow won 3 months of premium now. I don't know how this works.
She's already celebrating. She's taking a victory lap.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. So, yeah, all you need to do to win, tweet, just type the answer, hashtag SCG Premium. That's all.
3 months.
You don't have to tweet it at anybody, but you
Nope.
can. You can tweet it at
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
At Ben Affleck. At Channing Tatum.
How about at Key Money Ha?
And at Affinity for Islands if you'd like.
If you'd like. At Mitt Romney. At Barack Obama. Those guys have been in the news a lot lately for some reason.
I don't know
There's a lot of
why.
people talking about them. I just kind of skimmed it.
Rather watch basketball. Moving on to our sideboards as Jonathan is shuffling
Oh,
here for
Glennon's
game
sideboard?
2.
He's not even there.
No, of
Oh,
course
you mean
he's
these
not.
sideboards?
Yeah, these sideboards. He's on the screen
Those
sideboards.
sideboards. Different sideboard. Got it.
Jonathan has, let's take a look at what he has here for the Blue-White Miracles deck. Red Elemental Blast is an option, but it's not a very good one. Reason being is that counterbalance isn't much of a problem for a Goblins deck in the first place.
Yeah.
And Jace is a card that is somewhat worth countering, but again, in that particular game you saw it, if he wanted to kill Jace, he would have, and he chose not to. The rest of the cards here aren't really that great. Relic of Progenitus and Tormod's Crypt, this is not a graveyard deck. Angel of Despair, this is not a show and tell deck. Mindbreak Trap, this is not a combo deck. Pyrokinesis, this is not an aggressive deck. So there you go.
Yeah.
The options here in Jonathan's sideboard are pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And the only one that is of any merit really is Red Elemental Blast, and it's not very great in this matchup.
Yeah, as far as Alex is concerned, as you mentioned, counterbalance kind of a poor card in the matchup when you've got 4 Cavern of Souls on the other side of the table, in addition to Aether Vial. I believe there's 4 of those as well.
Yep.
So countering goblins is not the kind of line you want to take. It's just not as likely to succeed. So Alex, I imagine, is going to just completely side out the 3 counterbalance, in addition to possibly some number of counter spells, although I don't know that he can side out enough. He probably wants to keep a few in anyway. But as far as what he sides in, Engineered Explosives, definitely just another Wrath. Maybe an Oblivion Ring just as another removal spell. Is, not instant speed or anything, but it's something to get some damage off the table.
Also a nice way to take care of Aether Vial, too.
Sure, Aether Vial, and on that note, you have Disenchant, 1 copy there, 1 Path to Exile. Jonathan does run some number of basic lands, but I think Alex is willing to give him basic land when it comes to maybe using Path to Exile on something like Goblin Lackey, maybe, or even more juicy, something like Goblin Pile Driver. So, which has Pro Blue, by the way. Did you know that?
I did. Believe it or not, I did.
So he's got Engineered Explosives, he's got Oblivion Ring, he's got Disenchant, he's got Path to Exile. Probably brings in that last copy of Terminus, and probably the Vendilion Click. You think he brings in anything else?
No, I don't think anything else will be coming in here. Pithing Needle's a little bit too narrow.
That's what I was
an
thinking as
answer.
well.
It's,
Yeah.
it's only really good against Aether Vial.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of, if he doesn't draw Aether Vial, I draw my Pithing Needle.
I mean,
he
Tiki
can name,
Jiki.
Yeah, I mean, he could name Wasteland. He could name Rashad Port. They're not great names here. I don't think you want to invest a card in your deck with having a Pithing Needle here. But other than that, I think you're pretty much spot on about the options that he has available to him for this particular matchup.
How do you feel? Down a game, Goblins player. How do you feel, Cedric Phillips? What do you think?
How do I feel?
Yeah, how do you feel about Jonathan's chances with Goblins now down a game to Alex Kanan's Miracles?
It's going to be tough. Going to have to get 2 games, one on the play, one on the draw.
He got real close.
He did.
Got real
Did
close.
get close. I don't. It's hard to say. I mean, it is a very close matchup. You know, I didn't really agree with him, not attacking Jace and just basically saying, "I dare you to beat me, Jason." And Jace said, "Okay,
Yeah, gotcha.
I can do that."
I think that was really the one of the turning points in the game when you say, "I'm going to ignore Jace and just hope that Jace doesn't dig far enough to find and entreat the angels." But that's what Jace does.
Yeah,
Digs pretty deep.
not wise to take the Jace challenge.
Yeah. I mean, he was close. He wasn't that far off. One more fetch land or something on the other side could have made all the difference, maybe earlier in the game.
So we're going to see a Bloodstained Mire here from Jonathan, knocking him down to 19. We'll see either a Tiger or a basic mountain here. We'll see a basic mountain. That means we're going to be starting with some sort of 1-drop here. There's 4 lackeys. He has one Skirk Prospector and 4 Aether Vials. So one of those 9, I feel like, is going to be coming to play this turn. Alright, Aether Vial again on turn 1. Does Alex have the Force of Will? He does not. We're going to see Engineered Explosives on turn 1 from Alex. Alex, you can tell, Jonathan, a little bit newer to Legacy, taking a look at the card, seeing what it does. And the text might as well say blowing up your Aether Vial next turn.
Yeah. Destroy target Aether Vial. Destroy all Aether Vials in play.
Up to 1.
Overhearing a little bit of a judge controversy at one of the other tables. Apparently a brainstorm off a ponder.
Yeah, so
That's not how ponder works.
yeah, the person resolved a ponder as if he was brainstorming, which is tough to do.
Yeah, it's not the first time I've heard of that though.
So we see a Mog War Marshal here, along with, what's his name, Beaker?
Bender.
Beaker? Bobby?
B-
Is it Beaker? Okay, it's Bender. You see a flooded strand shot? It looks so bad. See a flooded strand here from Alex. It's time to take care of that. Was it time to take care of that vial already?
I think if I'm Alex, I mean, if you don't have anything else to do, I think dealing with the Aether Vials kind of high on the list of priorities right now. You don't want things to get totally out of hand. Now, at this particular juncture, we know that, or we suspect that Alex has a lot less counter spells. So the Aether Vial, the reason the Aether Vial would be good is less about the uncounterability and more for the fact that it's just free mana. You know what I mean? Like just giving Jonathan the opportunity to get a lot of just free spells. You don't want that either. So
More Marshal bites the dust. No echo paid.
So we were correct in assuming that he was going to pop the explosives. He does. Aether Vial goes away. Jonathan passes his upkeep, forgetting about the echo, it appears. So it did not pay the upkeep. Mog War Marshal goes away, and we've got Deadpool pretending to be a goblin.
Now we have Goblin Chieftain saying, I didn't want to pay echo anyway. Take
Yeah.
this.
Everybody in.
Attack you for 6, Alex. I trick you. I didn't care about echo. Excuse
Alex
me.
peeks at the top, not at Terminus. Plays a Scalding Tarn. Alex currently at 13, apparently. 1, 2. Oh, it was the fetch
There's a
land.
flooded strand over there.
That's
Could
what
be,
it was.
could be moving to 12 here shortly.
Yeah.
And we will see it
There
move
it
down
is.
to 12.
Alex at 12, and Jonathan has Alex on a 2-turn clock. Alex probably has something to say about
He
it.
may have something in his hand. He shuffles diligently. Interested to see what will come this turn for Alex. We're going to see a brainstorm. Main phase. after fetching, too. Now, that is interesting.
Yeah, he's digging for something. He must have something. Either he has something in mind that he's trying to dig to, or he just realizes he's just in trouble and needs something to get out of it. Finds Sensei's Divining Top. So, I think we've got a combat phase Terminus coming up.
I got a feeling you are right.
He leaves up the plains, has a top in play.
I'm looking up. Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, go.
That's it for me.
That's it. Go ahead. In fact, can you please play another goblin and then attack me? In fact, if you could play like 3 goblins, I'd be happy. 2 goblins, that's cool too. Go ahead, another Mog War Marshal, Skirk Prospector, or maybe like Lackey Mog War Marshal. Just put them all out there. There's a Rishadan port, Jonathan. Let's see if he wants to put Alex on the Terminus or wants to force Alex to have the Terminus.
I think you got to put him on the Terminus here. There was a Brainstorm and then a top. Just looking into that line of play just a little bit really just says to you, okay, I feel like there's probably a Terminus coming here, and if not, I mean, you just attack him, put him down to 6.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to be in with 6 power on the board,
Yeah.
having your opponent to 6. So that's how things could end up here. I mean, leaving open the white, Alex, at least, if he doesn't have the Terminus, he wants Jonathan to think he has the Terminus.
Yeah. And if you do put him on Terminus, I mean, if your Jonathan needs to think of the 2 lines to play here, okay, if he has Terminus, what am I going to do? I'm just going to attack with my 3 creatures. And, he's going to take 6 and go down to 6 when he's still on a 2-turn clock, or he's going to Terminus these guys away, and then I'm going to play something post-combat. And if he doesn't have Terminus, do I even really need to extend and attempt to kill him?
Exactly.
This turn?
Jonathan's in a pretty good situation.
He's in a pretty good spot. He has a Rishadan port where he can mess with Alex's mana on his upkeep, preferably the plains, to keep him off of Terminus. So he doesn't need to extend it. He doesn't need to put anything else on this board right now. He really needs to just pace this game correctly.
And don't you just port the planes now?
Well, if you port the plains now, he'll just activate Sensei's Divine Top and Terminus.
Sure.
Judge question.
There's a judge question happening here? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so I don't know who's asking. It appears that Alex is asking, considering the chair's empty.
I don't have the contents of Jonathan's hand, of course.
No.
So, I don't know if he needs to move all in this turn because he has anything else to do. Well, we are going to see another Goblin here. We're going to see a Sting Scourger.
And everybody in.
And this is just... He's going to port it and said, okay, I'm going to float the mana.
Yes.
And I'm going to Terminus you.
Yes, Terminus, Miracle Trigger. Pay for it. That was not the way Jonathan wanted that to work out.
No, not at all.
I think, yeah, not quite sure what he was thinking about there, but Terminus clears the board.
It's
Alex
just,
with a healthy 12 life now and replays that top.
It's just clear that Jonathan is not a very seasoned Legacy player.
Right.
Doesn't understand all the interactions that, in between Sensei's Divine Top, the Miracle Mechanic, floating of mana with Shroud and Port. And it's important in this matchup that you understand all of those interactions as we see a Goblin Matron come into play. Because you can't afford to just throw away cards in that fashion when you're playing against the Miracles deck, where they have such powerful cards.
So Matron finds Goblin Chieftain. Two cards left in John's hand, not counting the Chieftain, so 3. If you're just joining us, you're watching Game 2 of the quarterfinals of the StarCityGames.com Legacy Open. I'm Joey Pasco in the booth with Cedric Phillips, and we're watching Alex Khanin up a game with Blue, White, Red Miracles over Jonathan Paoletta playing Goblins. Pretty clear board post-Terminus here. We've got Sensei's Divining Top on Alex's side, facing down a Goblin Matron on Jonathan Paoletta's side. We do know that Jonathan has Goblin Chieftain in hand off of that Matron. This is, I believe, the end of Jonathan's turn, and we are having a spinning top here. Alex considering his top 3 cards and how he wants to arrange them. So All good, says Alex.
All
Untap.
good.
Draw my card. It is not a miracle. Surprise.
Alex just says, I don't have a fourth land. Your turn. Sack a Bloodstained Mire. On the end of Alex's turn, making Jonathan down to 18.
Do we have a match result?
I think we have, okay.
Several match
We
results.
have several match results. These guys are moving and grooving.
Yeah. So, I don't, this doesn't help me. You're not giving me enough information. I'm like, a player is 2-0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that helps. Thank you, Troy. Okay. Looks like Joe Bass is has advanced with his Miracle deck over Michael Baker. Chris Chilbert has advanced over Christopher Walker. I'm sorry, Colin Chilbert has advanced. Oh, I'm mixing that up. Christopher Walker has advanced over Colin Chilbert.
And Chris was
2-1.
Merfolk.
Chris with the Merfolk. So we have Merfolk versus Miracles on the other side of the bracket.
We're going to have a Goblin Chieftain be put on the stack here through Cavern of Souls. Hiya! And when Snapcaster Mage. Snapcaster Mage, what are you targeting, sir? Red Elemental Blast has something to say about that. Alright.
No, nice little bit of removal for the Goblins deck. So the other result we have is Darren Menard. Is that what that's supposed to be?
He is up a game.
It's okay. Is up a game in the other match. Sorry to mess with you, Choi. I just want to make sure I got the information right to tell everybody.
So now we see a Brainstorm. It is a foil Brainstorm, yes, sir.
There's a lot of foil cards in Alex's deck. He's got some
Assume
fancy...
all of his cards are either foil or Guru.
Yeah, he's got a fancy fancy pimpage going on in that deck.
All right, Alex has resolved a Brainstorm. Happy enough.
And now down to 8 life. And 5
We're
mana.
going to see a Goblin, my friend. We're going to see a Kiki Jiki Mia Breaker.
Trying to break this mirror match, which is not at all a mirror match, but, you know, with a name like Mirror Breaker, what do you expect anybody to think?
So you can see what he's going to copy with this. He can copy the Goblin Chieftain to add additional power to the board, or he can copy a Goblin Matron to find more card advantage. We are going to see a Terminus again.
Terminus off the top.
To put a stop to all of those shenanigans.
All the goblins go away.
And again, that was another situation there, as we saw earlier in this game, where Alex is at 8, Jonathan is representing 4 points of power on the board. So it was a 2-turn clock, and going for it there, you know, it can get Alex dead, but again, it's not something that he needs to do that turn. It's just it's a huge risk.
Yeah, we've seen Jonathan overextend quite a bit in this this match. I think he really has a thing for Kiki Jiki.
Yeah.
I've seen him do it in 2 different matches where he's like, want to play Kiki Jiki.
So we're going to see a Goblin Ringleader here.
Oh no.
The dreaded 0 for 4. The dreaded 0 for 4.
Ringleader whiffs, and that is unfortunate. I mean, he is left with a 2/2 haste, I believe. That is haste, right?
That is haste.
Yeah, so that's something.
It is rare, as we see in Aether Vial now, it is rare that Goblin Ringleader does go for 4. That's another reason that I don't love Red Elemental Blast, is because when you do board that in, you are boarding out 4 Goblins out of your deck. So, I mean, the percentages are still in your favor.
Sure,
You know,
he would have
to
hit
hit.
1 goblin
Yeah,
there,
but-
whatever he boarded out.
Yeah, but it does decrease them.
Yes. Although, to be fair, if he didn't have the blasts,
There would
who
be a
knows
Snapcaster
what would have
Mage.
happened? Yeah, there would have been a Snapcaster and likely another missing goblin just because of the Swords to Plowshares or something. I assume that he was going to flash back.
So Alex setting his top, going down to 6. Jonathan without cards, hoping Alex misses some more land drops. Don't want to see a Jace here as we see a gorgeous Tundra.
Black Border Tundra and
Oblivion
an Oblivion Ring. And he says, I'm going to deal with the 2-power dude. Aether Vial, not all that impressive when you have no cards in hand. Yeah, life total check there. 6 for Alex, 18 for Jonathan.
You have to draw a gooder. Rashad Port, not the worst draw in the world, honestly. You can lock down both of his white sources. Now if he chooses to, as we see a top at the end of turn for Alex.
It's taken a long time for Alex to find that 4th land, and I believe 5th land potentially right here.
Yeah.
Okay, the way he moved there, it looked like he was about to play a land. He drew and play a land. It was just actually just his movements. So there goes a some ports doing some tapping.
Yeah, he floated the mana there.
Yes.
Off of both the ports, and he's been dealing clicking. He's targeting himself, and he's putting his counterbalance in his hand. He said, "Get out of here! I don't need you anymore."
Card.
Draw a fresh one, and he's going to draw a card for his turn now.
Yes.
So he is not drawing an extra card for the turn.
That's correct.
Promise.
Yes. Does find that land, and that is a Mystic Gate.
What is that?
A Mystic Gate.
That's
and what that does is it mystically gates.
Okay.
And just in case you want to know, what that does is filter mana. So you know what? Island Mystic Gate can produce double white.
No.
Could also produce blue-white or blue-blue.
Or blue-blue.
That's right.
Something that Glacial Fortress cannot do.
And in fact, Glacial Fortress, not in this deck.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure that that's clear.
As we see a Goblin Lackey. You're a little late. I'm already torn. Torn. Get your lighters out. And we have an engineer explosive here. On 1, Alex is doing his best. You could say that he's stabilized at this point. I think we could agree.
Yeah.
He's got top going. Vanilla Click as a blocker. He's kind of taking care of the things that are going on. We're going to see some port action. I've got a feeling we are going to see.
That tonight's going to be a good night.
Yeah, it could be.
Could
be. We're going to see top draw card, and then explosives go kablooey.
Boom. There goes Lackey. There goes Vial.
In with the Vendilion Clink.
Jonathan down to 15. 6-turn. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was a 6-turn clock. Now it is a 5-turn clock. Jonathan with 1 card in hand. It's a Goblin Sharpshooter. Does not have haste. So the click is currently safe.
Yeah, the click is currently live for this world.
Not for long though. As long as it goes unanswered.
We're going to see a couple of Rashad Port activations. One on a Mystic Gate.
Alex rearranging his lands here. Trying to see if he can prevent this match from going to game 3. He's in pretty good shape right now, facing down only a Goblin Sharpshooter.
Yeah, he's moving and grooving.
And
we're going to see an
Oblivion Ring
take care of that Goblin Sharpshooter.
And 1 fluid motion drops Oblivion Ring on top of the Sharpshooter and swings with the click.
Plays the top, passes it back, daring Jonathan, and draw your best card. It's going to have to be a good one. Ringleader ideal here. Matron also a pretty good draw. Siege Gang also a pretty good draw right now.
I also wonder right here if Alex even has a setup Terminus at this point, just in case. We may actually find out. No, he's just got a Swords to Plowshares for that.
That's going to be exiled. And Jonathan's going to gain 2 more life, go up to 14.
So, living another turn.
We're going to see Mystic Gate top spin here at the upkeep. Alex just doing He's stabilized at this point. He's making sure that he just does anything to make sure that he does not lose the game now.
Jace the Mind Sculptor will help that cause. Immediately goes to the top of Jonathan's deck. Says bottom it.
And
Click
now,
in yet again, and I believe Jonathan should be at 11 here because I think he should be at 14 and then
yeah,
lose
he
3
will
to
get
the
knocked
click.
down to 11
Yes,
here.
that is 11.
Now the gears are crunching in. The walls are closing in. Goblin Pile Driver, something that Jace cannot bounce. But it's only attacking for 1. He's by himself. There's no one to pile on with him. So we're going to see a Rashad Port activation.
Goblin Squire Driver.
Squire
Driver.
And
It is
now
hard
he
to say
has
Squire
to exile
Driver.
on the driver. He's going to have to go pile somewhere else.
Pro blue, not pro white.
And that's
It
true.
is not pro Azorius.
Jonathan's like, while you search your land, I'm going to brainstorm. I'm going to cast my awesome card. Alright, draw a card for the turn. Scalding Tarn. Sculpt your mind.
Yeah. Hey, this 6-sider doesn't go up to 7. I always have that problem.
I do that every time. I'm
Keep
trying to
look
do a
for
6. I'm just
7 on the 6.
So, where's the 7?
I'm like, 6
Who broke the
versus
die?
6. It's just one of those things. You need to invent die that are just kind of infinite sided. They just go to whatever number you need. I guess that's called an iPhone.
Yeah.
Just set it up how you want it.
Fate Seal, that one to the bottom, my friend. Click in for 3. We are going to put you down to 8. And again, Alex putting Jonathan in a situation of, all right, draw something nice.
Yeah, unfortunately for Jonathan, no miracles in his deck. At least not the kind that were printed in Avacyn Restored.
Yeah. We're going to clear up the game state a little bit there.
Yeah.
Make sure we know what's exiled, what's not exiled, all that good stuff. And Jonathan takes his draw step. And a
Found
spell.
something.
We
Skirk
have
Prospector,
an
Aether Vial. Okay.
Alex says, that's fine. Spin top. Leaving the Scalding Tarn there, excuse me, in case he does need to get a fresh Sensei's Divining Top. And he's tapping the Mystic Gate and the Tundra. And he said, let me sculpt your mind one more time. You can have that.
Probably more than one more time. I think he's probably going to continue doing it.
Can't stop, won't stop. Away you go. Wild move to 1. Wasteland resolves. And we see top spun one more time.
All right, Alex untaps his click.
2 more port activations, it looks like. This is like, I can tap them for you.
Yeah. What do you want me to do? All right, Wasteland the Tundra. Tundra taps for mana. Port the Mystic Gate. Oh, Mystic Gate gets Wastelanded? Or was that tapped?
Now things are just going in the graveyard willy-nilly.
Yeah, I was
I
like,
think that
didn't
one
he
should
just
be-
didn't he just port the
Yeah.
Mystic
Yeah,
Gate
there
and
we
not
go, that
kill
one.
it?
There we
we
go.
go. All right. Yeah, he's got some. There we go. Okay.
So top draw. Hello.
Oh. So he's got the floating mana.
Yep.
And he's gonna go ahead and.
3 4/4s.
Is it just 3 or is it 4? Because I think he's got 2 floating, and 1 off. Also.
Oh, sure,
Yeah.
sure,
So
sure.
it should.
He
He
may
should have
have-
6 here.
Yeah, he may have wastelanded the.
I think he wasted the Tundra.
Yeah, he may,
So
he may
Tundra
have
added
wastelanded on
one.
the end of turn, but I.
Oh, it's possible.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's possible.
Not quite sure on how. We'll see if he gets 4 angels or 3.
Yeah, we'll see how many angels he puts
Looks like
in
he went
play.
with 3,
I mean,
okay.
Brian Kibler's is too many.
I thought he wasted the Tundra, so he added a mana and then ported the other 2. So that should have been 3 floating. I thought.
Yeah.
Maybe he just didn't float the other one.
Yeah, or we're not really quite sure when he did actually activate the
That's
waste
true.
sign on the Tundra.
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah.
Now Brian Kibler's good, but he doesn't have haste. He's not that good.
No, not in this
He
particular
has a winning
case.
smile, but he can't attack that quickly.
And there's the match. Alex Khanin takes it 2-0 with blue-white-red Miracles over Jonathan Paoletta and his Goblins. Jonathan's still pretty happy, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, top 8 performance.